Today we're going to talk about Puka and what she does and the stuff that she never wants to talk about, which is her pressed flowers, her tattoos, and the book that she's working on.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that guy who was in that thing that time who Twitters. And
that pretty much sums it up.
That's pretty much what we are talking about today.
Enjoy!
So Puka has been successfully avoiding talking about one topic, which is herself. And this great project, this great book that she's got coming out, I think, when did you want to have it come out?
I want to have it out by the end of this year. I'm trying really hard.
So why don't you tell us what the name of this project is?
Okay, the book is called Of Honey and Mud. It's the relationship between people, plants, and tattoos. Honestly, I feel like every day that goes by, this thing is just taking on a whole new life of its own. So
we call ourselves Coven Cast because of our interest in what I guess would be like domestic witchiness.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's me. Summary, new bio, Twitter.
It's all the things that we like and all the things that kind of set us apart from the norm. I mean, what you would, the redhead gets burned at the stake, right? I mean,
whoa.
So that's the stuff that we like on top of the geeky fan nerdness that makes us a little different and queer anyway. So how does that fit into your domestic witchiness? Your project?
I don't know, I guess my obsession with plants, gardening, herbalism, all those things. This is obviously something that's been a part of me forever. I guess it's not something I really think about. It's just something that just kind of happens. So it literally was something that came out of nowhere. I've always wanted to write a book, but never thought that I could. I feel like I was always kind of like interested in that type of project, but never really knew how to go about it. And only recently in my career have I had a little bit more time to really focus on more of the things that I personally really want to do. I found myself kind of going more towards plant tattoos in general, plant designs. And from there, it just kind of was like carrying over to then my personal work. I was kind of pressing plants, drawing from them, all these things, and I kind of realized this is what my book could be about.
So what are they going to look at right now?
So these are some of the pressings and like I guess almost decoupaging that I've done. Out of all the specimens I've collected, this is like my way of kind of harnessing them and keeping them forever. So this is something I do anyways in my personal life, and then realize that there are tattoo designs in all of these things. I mean, these plants, you don't have to try hard. They're beautiful by themselves. Anybody would, want to get these things tattooed, in my opinion. It kind of took me down this like rabbit hole of like, why would people want to get these tattooed? Well, we know that plants throughout time a lot of them are very symbolic for many things, and there's a lot, like even through the Victorian era and everything, there's a whole language of flowers that I don't think people really realize. That's how we used to communicate, something as simple as giving a rose to somebody. Obviously, this is like something everybody knows can show that you love them. So this is kind of playing off of that. A lot of these plants have symbolic meaning behind them throughout history and folklore. Some don't. Some are just purely aesthetic, but something that I am touching on in this book, which this is, I don't even know if you know this, but it's kind of like what makes something special. So what makes something really hold weight, especially when it comes to tattooing and designs that people want to get tattooed and carry with them for the rest of their lives. And I think it's part of it. It's like the process. I think when someone sees, or at least the people who are part of this project, when they see that I've collected all these specimens myself, I've pressed them, from them I've scanned them, I've done tattoo drawings from them, renderings, notes, paintings from them, and then they come in, they choose the one that they're first instinctively kind of drawn to, and then it's like the whole process of doing the tattoo, the whole process of me talking to them about the tattoo or talking to them about like why they're drawn to that, and then that usually leads down another rabbit hole. Maybe it reminds them of a flower that they had in the front yard of their childhood home growing up. I mean, I think there's like a lot of like profound things that can kind of come forth from a tattoo session. I think this is part of it.
You know what I think is awesome is that you said that you probably wouldn't be able to talk about this.
Oh!
And she's been talking for like 20 minutes.
She tricked me.
Regardless of how limited it or how it gets edited. So that is something that I thought was really beautiful. And I also want to show, I mean, there's really no way without having the book done to show like the quantity of work that Puka has put toward this. These are, I mean, this is like a packet of the completed ones, the ones that have been successfully turned into tattoos. It's gonna look bad with the lighting, but something like this gets transferred onto paper. Something that was originally a pressed flower that she's gone ahead and rendered artistically and then painted or, you know, inked, depending.
Yeah. And like I said, some of them have a lot of folklore behind it, so I think it's really interesting. I'll have notes on that, so that kind of ties in too. And then I think it makes the whole process special as well for that person who got that tattoo.
Well,
to be
yeah.
like, oh my God, that's what this means, and maybe it has relevance to them, and maybe it's even more serendipitous, and it feels like,
Sure.
you know.
Sure, we've talked about this quite a bit. Not at Coven Cast, but it's a great time to talk about it. About really the resources that we have to learn about humanity and to learn about human relationships to things like symbols, things like myths. I do it with the books that I write, even though they're urban fantasy and they can be, you can think they're schlocky or pulpy or whatever,
No, but
sexy
still,
even, and you can still kind of, no matter how simple the story you're trying
100%.
to tell, no matter the
100%.
medium that you're trying to tell that story in, having that kind of background and having those resources behind you can really enrich your experience of your own
Yeah.
life, but the things you enjoy, the entertainment that you watch, which is
Absolutely.
why things like Supernatural, you know?
Extremely interesting. I just recently started to follow a Supernatural quotes account, and maybe I've been retweeting the shit out of it.
Well, you can do that. Also getting fringe. You know that every time you hashtag fringe, people that you've never heard of. I'm
This is
amazed
how the
by
internet
Twitter.
works. I'm figuring it out. You would think I would know by
I
now.
think we're learning.
I thought that I knew, but I'm figuring it out.
I thought
I'm
that I
using
knew too.
I'm using Twitter the way that I think you're supposed to be using Twitter, through the hashtags and
Oh
finding
yeah,
people.
yeah. I'm
I
telling
know
you,
that.
I hashtagged
I saw that.
fringe, and then someone who, by the way, it's Jean McCown. Fringe.
Oh.
Jean the cow.
Oh, the cow. I saw that.
Jean
Yeah.
McCown, come on. It's Jean the cow. And it's like a little picture. This is a shout out to whoever that is. Oh, I just realized that.
What?
I mixed referenced Fringe and X-Files, and I didn't hashtag X-Files.
Ah, that goes
But
to
that
show
was like
you.
a week ago.
Files. You got a place in my heart,
For sure.
but you're super 90s, dog. And that's what happens.
No.
That's what happens. Your mind is in the fringe game. You don't even think to hashtag X Files.
Well, because
It's in the vault. That's what it is. You locked it away already.
this kind of hurts my feelings.
Oh no.
X-Files and I have a serious, we have a relationship. Me
Really
and-
quick,
me and Fox
I want to
Mulder.
talking about being totally obsessive and creepy. I'm just gonna throw this out there because I don't know if I'm the only one. She doesn't even know what I'm about to say.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, she told me she was gonna say something.
Maybe I'm a fan of Nerdist. Maybe I listen to the podcast. I'm a fan of Chris Hardwick. So maybe I know that he used to date, up until recently, Chloe, aka Sky Dart, I think is her name, right? I started to follow her on Twitter. Now, sidetrack, I'm a huge fan of Being Human. We don't even have to talk about that right now, that could be a separate video. Anyways, Aiden the vampire is played by Sam Witwer, which is a gorgeous human being. He was also on Battlestar. I'm gonna throw that out.
Galactica?
Yeah. Anyway, he's a beautiful human being, and I follow him on the internet as well. So this is the first time in my life this has happened. I recently noticed they're crossing each other's Instagram and Twitter
Crossing
feeds.
streams?
Yes.
You can't cross a stream.
I'm
You know what
following-
happens, right?
I'm following Chloe on the Instagram. Guess who's in the picture? Sam Witwer. Hey, what are you doing there, buddy? I didn't even know that you ever knew this girl. She goes to the next convention. Ooh, taking pictures. Sam Witwer, right there, smiling next
But
to her.
it's normal to have like people
No.
relationships.
Let me just say
People
something.
are people.
I love this man. He's come up on her feed quite a few times. I'm starting to wonder if they're dating, guys. Can someone confirm or deny what's happening? Does anybody else give a shit? I don't know. I'm probably the only one, but I'm concerned. Are they dating?
You want to talk about Nerdist? True story. Well, obviously he was in Singled Out, right?
Yes.
Which was an MTV. I remember this was in the 90s when we existed.
Yes.
And he dated Jacinda
Who's that?
from one of the Real Worlds.
Who's
Yes.
Jacinda? What kind of
She-
name is that?
She was Australian. She was the model.
Oh, maybe
I'm
that's
almost
okay.
positive about this because I remember these things. And I don't want to say it. When I was in LA, I went to a restaurant. My friends of ours live in LA, so I went to a restaurant, was eating. some dude would not get off the phone. The phone like this, like they were the only other people there, and I'm kind of facing that direction. He's got someone at the table, and she also cannot get off the phone. This was the entire time that my friend Lizzie and I are having this conversation. They didn't even order, and the people brought them their food.
What?
Lizzie, that guy looks familiar, like for real familiar. And she's like, oh, you know how it is. Like, this always happens to us when we're there. Whatever. Totally Chris Hardwick. Not even, he's tweeting the whole time. Tweeting, he's not even eating, he's tweeting.
Well, he is the king of
I know.
artists. I would assume that's all he would do.
That's life now.
Anyways,
now.
Chris Hardwick, if I see you in real life, which I doubt, because that would involve me having to fly somewhere, and I hate flying. But if I ever see you in real life, I will go up to you and hug you, because you know what?
No, you wouldn't.
Yes,
no,
I would.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't even say anything because he's on the phone and you don't want to interrupt
I would
people.
say, because I listened to
You
his
wouldn't want to
podcast,
interrupt
and he
anybody.
has said that it is quite alright to go up to him and say, excuse me, sir, I'm a fan of you.
But if he's tweeting, it's kind of like he's working.
I'll tap on his shoulder, excuse me, can I take a picture with you? And then on top of that, I just sneak it in his ear. I say, you don't need Chloe. I could be in your feed, though. Let's do
I
that.
could be your Chloe.
Yeah. He won't even notice. Just take pictures of him with me in the back and then uploading it to his account. Hello, full circle. I'm getting back at her. Chloe, I love you. It's fine. We're friends. But I'm just saying, I love Sam, and I just hope at least you're. Get it, girl.
That's it for today's Coven Cast. We will be meeting again, well, to record stuff and to talk and fangirl and whatever. And we're going to talk about Doctor Who and Supernatural, because hopefully Supernatural, it starts in October, right?
October 7th.
Which also means that Arrow starts, which is a blessing, truly.
combo.
October, since it's Halloween and that's like our thing, we're going to do
Witches, get it?
witchy stuff. Favorite witchy songs, movies, favorite witchy books.
And please comment below and let me know, what are some actors that you creepily follow on the internet? Don't make me feel alone here. I know you do it too. You see any other online relationships happening? Comment below, let me know. Maybe I can get creepy with you. We could be creepy together.
I think that's creepy.
Anyways, let us know, guys. Thanks so much. Till next time. Bye.